Well, you mentioned the money and funding example. That's a good example of external environment and the energy that's available from the external environment. How do you get funding into your movement from the outside? Someone outside and is money or other resources or education that's coming from outside to focus your movement, to add energy to it. There's the external environment. The industrial age was born on the energy of hydrocarbons and accelerated humanity to a place. There was a movement of creativity and mechanization from that, which is fueled in hydrocarbons, as we talked about. And then we then moved into the information age, where data and information and intellect became the fuel or the energy that has funded that. In this age we're moving into, it's more about, I think, relationship that is the capital or the energy which we can access that is expanding. And we can see that in the way millennials behave. We can see that in social media. All these relationships is networking with the World Wide Web. Relationship is going to be key for any movement right now, and engaging people in your movement.
Which I think is a really good way of segueing into what's in two.
In three.
Three. Okay.
Yeah. Is engagement.
The concept of engagement, because I think the three is really around engagement of movement. Like if one is about encouragement of movement, two is about the energy of movement, three is about the engagement of movement.
Yeah, and engaging other in the movement,
yeah.
in your movement, engaging the movement, but engaging other. It's focusing on an aspect of energy. How do you engage, and how do you invite people into the movement that you're making? Whether it's to fund you from the external, or to get aligned with you in purpose and vision and values around your moving, setting that container. We're talking about groups here and engaging groups.
Yeah. Well, okay. So if we're extending invitation, then there's things like communication, connection, collaboration, those kind of words. So I think it's probably best that we have some conversation about those.
Yeah.
All right. What else would we talk about?
That whole, I don't know how deep we can go into our workshop. That whole idea of invitation is really important. How do you when you invite people, if it's an organization, if you tell people they have to show up, that's one thing. But if you're inviting them, you're inviting their energy in, their emotion in, their passion in. And just the way we invite people into to engage with us, it speaks to relationship, speaks to trust, speaks to creating an environment of safety and authenticity. All of these things will create that environment which engages people and aligns people towards some kind of result or outcome.
Okay, so the possibility that exists here is that we may have a bit of a segue into the course itself with what you just said, because if we think of the course as like being a deep dive,
yeah,
all right, yeah. And you use the word authenticity, so authenticity, couldn't we add words like voice, mastery, position, these kind of things, so that when we go to move into the course and our invitation to people, what we're talking about here also is authenticity, mastery, voice, and position.
Sure. Yeah. And like you say, it's a deep dive. We're in the workshop. We're going to go deeper into the why, the encouragement of what's the movement that each is being called towards. We're going to go into, if you've got your idea or the call to move, what's the energy, and doing a deep dive into how to engage that energy, where the sources of that energy, internal and external environment. Then we're going to do a deep dive into engagement and experience, engagement with others in that, and finding, so it's all about, finding your voice and position within your movement, and then co-creating that with other movements, other people, and learning together.
So you know those 3-word taglines that we see? Encourage, energize, engage.
Yeah.
That's another way to organize what we're doing. And it gives people an opportunity to sort of go, oh, okay, so those are...
We could shift our workshop to be around those 3 things.
Yeah.
And a deepening of knowledge and wisdom around that, an experience of that, into committing to the movement with the full clarity of what their movement is and how they can collaborate with others in movement.
Yeah, because we're always looking for those little things that we can give to people to grab a hold of and run with. I think that's important. Because as much as we want to, have people having some kind of conversations, they've also got to go out of this with some actions that they're actually going to take. So that'll be an important piece.
Oh yeah, in the last part of our workshop, there'll be a commitment.
Yeah.
What am I committed to do? What are my next action steps? Even if it's to go back inside and get clarity within yourself at another level, another iteration of this.
Yeah.
Or testing it out with some people that might have the energy to join you in your movement, but there'll be some action steps at the end of the course where they will have full clarity of, or reasonable clarity of what movement they want to make, whether that's first an internal movement, or they're ready to step forward in gathering other people, or they want to take their movement to the next level.